This world needs more love. Be the change you want to see in this world. Hi everyone, here Tommy Walker, the Mind Engineer, with another episode in the Mind Engineer community. Want to share insight and tools to help start making changes in your life and in the world. Seriously, it's very important to understand that, as I just said, is this world needs more love, and it starts with us. It is easier to love others when they're behaving the way that we expect they should be behaving, when they give us what we're looking for. But how about loving others or loving ourselves when we are maybe not behaving the way we should, or others are not behaving the way we think they should? So again, it's very easy to love others or ourselves when things are going correct, the right way, according to what we think. But maybe if we are not, being able to find that partner that we're looking for, we're not be able to make enough money as we would like to, not being able to go on vacations as we would like to, not being able to do this or that, how can we still love ourselves? Because remember, that is through love that things can start changing. Yes, through love, things can start changing. What do I mean with that? Whenever, a friend of ours is not behaving the way that we would like to, maybe we are feeling that they're being disrespectful, what do we try to do? We try to get them to stop doing what they're doing. The thing is, if you have a person that is not behaving very well with you, maybe imagine a loved one, and you attack them, you belittle them, you treat them badly because they're treating you badly, so now you think that it's okay to treat them badly. What normally happens? When things escalate, what happens on the other side? Normally, the other party also escalates. And as they escalate, we escalate, and it keeps going into a war that it never ends, and we can see that around the world. So when we start understanding that the mind, the ego, wants to feel loved and accepted, and the more we practice love and acceptance, even when things are not going the way that we expect for ourselves, or even when people don't behave as we would like to, when we start using those opportunities to stretch our heart muscle, things can start changing. So, as Gandhi said, let's be the change we want to see in the world. Hey Mike, thank you for stopping by. Let's be the change we want to see in the world. So what does the world need more? Love. So how can we practice loving and accepting others even when they're not behaving like we would like to? And I'm not saying it's easy at all, but that's the heart muscle stretch. Because again, it's very easy to go and love, somebody that behaves and is the way that we want. There's a very nice story from Saint Francis of Assisi that he was always helping, the people in need. But he had a repulsion for people that had, I think it was leprosy or something like that. I think it was for leopards, right? And he realized one day that it was very easy to work with people that were healthy and they needed help, of course, but whenever he saw a leopard, he didn't want to get close to them. One day he was able to stretch the heart muscle and go and hug his worst nightmare. So again, how can we stretch our heart muscle with the people around us? And it doesn't mean if you are living with a partner that is a narcissist, right, to go hug him. No, I'm not saying that. Even I teach people to walk away from those situations, don't get me wrong. But how can you still love the other person, understanding that they're in a lot of pain and that's why they're behaving the way that they're behaving? When we start understanding that people behave the way that they're behaving, whenever they're behaving in a negative, quote unquote, way, that we said it as the ego as a negative way, what if we understand that they're in a lot of pain? They're not trying to screw your life, destroy you, as a lot of people try to put the narcissist, the covert narcissist, all these people, they're trying to destroy you. That is creating more separation, more hatred. And we see that around the world now with all these, new age things about spirituality, science, religion, whatever. Wherever we look, we see separation. Now we see all this with identities, right? Women that want to be men or want to be binary or non-binary or this or that, is respecting each other, right? And that goes both ways. That goes both ways. That doesn't mean that I have to put up with something that I don't want to, right? This is important also to understand, because now we are in this age where I need to accept whatever the other person wants. Okay, but if accepting what the other person wants, and we had this in our country, listen to this, we used to pay people from taxpayer money their operation to change sexes. Seriously, if they wanted to change sex, the taxpayers, we used to pay for their, sex change. Why would I have to pay for what they're choosing? Hey, I want to go vacations somewhere. They need to pay for that. So we got to be very careful, but I still love and accept them. I'm working on loving and accepting everything, even murderers. I'm not saying it's easy. Even people that have robbed from me, and I've been robbed many times, is like, how can I still love and accept them? I'm not saying that we, they don't need to, if they are, found, right? If, somehow these guys are found and they're sentenced to go to jail, yeah, they need to make amends for what they did. Don't get me wrong. That doesn't diminish, doesn't reduce what they did. But they still deserve love and acceptance. I have been sued many years ago in one of my businesses that I have. I was sued by a guy, and and it's been 4 years now for the lawsuit, and I'm still sending love and acceptance to that guy, because I know that he did this out of pain. I know that deep down he's an awesome guy, but he did it out of pain. And I've done things out of pain too. And I might do in the future things out of pain too. And others are going to do to me things out of pain. But that doesn't mean that the other person to the core normally is a bad person. So when we start seeing the world in this way, it's easier, and I'm not saying it's easy, to try to stretch the heart muscle. Because remember this, whenever you find it difficult to love others, it is also a reflection of the things that you're not being able to love in yourself. Listen to this, please. If I hate people that are, narcissists, and I had this conversation with a lot of people, and a lot of people don't like this, please bear with me for a second, right? Whenever you are hating a narcissist because they're behaving in this way or that way, I invite you to check how you are treating yourself. Are you hard on yourself? Yes or no? Do you beat yourself up when things don't go well? Yes or no? How do you treat yourself? Because seriously, the people that I have worked with that came from narcissist relationships, when they opened their heart and their mind, they started realizing that they were treating themselves in a similar way. I'm not saying the same way, but in a similar way. So the universe was bringing people and circumstances into their life to be able to see how they were treating themselves. They were treating themselves. I used to fall into lots of narcissist relationships. Why? Because I was, in a way, raised up in a very, there was a lot of expectations when I was growing up. There was a lot of, telling me what I was doing wrong. And my dad and my mom didn't do it on purpose to try to hurt us. That's what they were taught, and they were being very hard on us because they wanted us to be the right kids, behave, have good grades, blah, 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 be successful, whatever. In their own fear, they used these things. Doesn't mean that they're bad parents, they're bad people. No, they did the best they could, as I'm doing the best I can as a parent. So as I was in that environment, I used to fall for relationships, women that did the same things to me. Were they bad people? No, they were not bad people. They had their own pain, and they were reflecting back at me the things that I was doing to myself. When I started healing more and more how I was treating myself, that I was very hard on myself. I used to beat myself up when things didn't go well. I hated myself when things went wrong. If you look at the traits, the qualities that people put into narcissist, covert narcissists, you're going to see that you still might have some of them, and you might be doing that to yourself. It doesn't mean that you're doing that to others. It doesn't mean that you're a narcissist. Please don't get me wrong. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm just giving you for you to understand that whatever people are doing around you many times, most of the times, not to say all the time, but I truly believe all the time, but let's keep it as most of the times, is people that are showing you an opportunity to deal with what you're doing to yourself. Whatever that is. Dismissing yourself, like saying like, oh, I shouldn't feel like this. I shouldn't feel like that. Hating yourself. Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so silly. Look what I did. What's wrong with me? So please, next time, before pointing fingers outside of you, look at my hand, right? There's one finger pointing out, one finger pointing up, and 3 fingers pointing back at me. So when you're pointing out, there's one finger pointing out at the person you're pointing out, and then there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So use this to learn. Use this to grow. Because if you keep blaming people on the outside, you will never get the lesson that you need to learn on the inside. What do I need to learn? What am I doing that I'm hurting myself? How am I hurting myself? This person, and I use this example, please write down. My husband, I hate that my husband is doing this. When my husband does this, makes me feel blah. I hate blah, blah, blah. My husband makes me feel blah. My husband makes me feel blah. My wife makes me feel blah. Whatever. Wife, partner, boss, friend. Write it down. Write everything down as much as you can. And then I invite you to do something. Change the word boss. Change the word husband. Change the word wife and put your name in there. And this is not an easy exercise, people. Most people don't like doing it because it starts showing them how they are treating themselves. And the ego doesn't want to recognize that. It wants to put it on the outside. My wife, blah. My boss, blah. My parents, blah. My blah. It's on the outside. No, I'm not doing that to myself. And most people that tell me that they're not doing that to themselves, they're doing it and they're not even aware of it. They have naturalized, they have, it has become so natural that they're not even aware of it. It could be abandonment. When there's a part of you feeling sad, oh, I shouldn't feel like this. When a part of you feels angry, I shouldn't feel like this. When a part of you feels, scared, oh, I shouldn't feel like this. Or hating yourself for feeling this or that. It happens to most people. And as we are in this era where we need to just think positive, we miss the lesson that is behind the negatives, that the negative or positive comes from ego. How about just talking about circumstances? How about just talking about emotions? Not good, not bad. Yes, we can put negative or positive, like -1 is negative. Is that bad? Depends. It depends. If you want to go skiing, -1 could be a good number for the snow to stay like that for a long time. If you want to go skiing, 20 is really bad as in temperature, or 40 or 80 or whatever, depending on where you are in the world. Okay? So it all depends. So something negative or positive, it's just bad or good according to the ego and the experiences. Somebody might lose their job and might feel that now they're free to pursue their entrepreneur, journey. Somebody that loses their job might go into depression, but the depression was already there. They might have been using the job to numb their pain. You see what I mean? This is important to understand, people. Type a yes in the chat if this is making sense. Please share with me so we can do a little bit of interaction. If you're watching on social media, or whether it is on YouTube or whether it is on Facebook, please share #live or #replay. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to follow for more, you want to learn more about how the mind works and how to start bringing changes and how to finally find that love that you're looking for on the outside within you. Seriously, the love that you're looking on the outside, whether it is with a relationship, whether it is with your kids, whether it is, buying something, whether it is having a better job, whatever that is, the love and acceptance, recognition, validation that you're looking on the outside, if we don't start from within, no matter what you get on the outside, it's never going to be enough. It's going to give you a small rush of adrenaline, dopamine and different things temporarily, and then you're going to move over to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. I have had the opportunity to work with people all around the world, from different class status, from high class, middle class, and even from low class. And no matter where they come from, people that have a lot, they always feel that it's not enough. Once I was working with somebody that his net worth was around $5 million, and he said that if he didn't make 10, 20, 10 or 15, I don't remember exactly the number, until he didn't make X amount of money, he wasn't going to be able to feel free or happy or fulfilled. But his net worth was $5 million. And I've seen this in many cases, in many people. We keep that pursuit on the outside, and then from pain, because we didn't get what we wanted, we might hurt others and we might hurt ourselves. So again, if we want to see more love in the world that is really required, we need to start working on these things. We need to start healing, reprogramming the subconscious mind from all these things that are going on that are not helping us become who we are meant to be. I believe that we're meant for greatness. And somebody shared something today that I loved it. I even saved it and asked him if I could share it. And look what it says. It says, you were born original. And I'm going to add unique. Don't die a copy. Don't die a copy. And I love that. Because seriously, so many people fit in. So many people choose to become someone else. Because a lot of gurus out there teach you got to become someone else. No. How about remembering who we are? Who did the Creator create in us to share with the world? I believe that is the most powerful thing there is. The biggest thing that you can do to humanity, and first to yourself, and then to humanity, is be you. And if people can not stand it, that's something they need to work on. If they don't like what I'm sharing, some people say, oh, Tommy, this love thing, blah, 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 it's bullshit. You need to kick yourself in the butt. You need to work harder. You need to blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they confuse working hard with beating yourself up. There's two different things. I still work hard, but I'm working on beating myself up less and less. And I've changed so much in the last 16 years. My life has changed a lot. So we got to be very careful with those things. I can still work hard, but more from a loving place. That doesn't involve falling into burnout, PTSD, or other things that could happen from pushing myself too hard. I've heard that David Goggins, by pushing himself once, he went for a dinner with his mother or something, and he passed out because he was pushing himself so much. So, again, it's okay to push yourself, but up to where? We got to be careful. What is the intention behind it? To prove myself to others because I don't feel good enough, so I need to prove myself to others like a prover? There's so many people out there that have been able to achieve things by needing to prove to others, and that still causes pain. That's not from spirit, what I truly believe is spirit. You can still perform at a high level, but more from spirit, more from your true self than from fear of making a mistake, fear of screwing up, fear of failing, or things like that. So again, this world needs more love. This morning, I was going in the middle of an avenue, and a woman decided, a person, let's put it this way, it doesn't matter if I don't think that women or men, they both can drive well or not well, it doesn't matter. So there was a person that suddenly I was on the right side continuing to go in the avenue, and this person tried to cut in front of me to turn to the right in front of me. This person wanted to be able to turn to the right. So I nearly bumped into it. So the first reaction was, what the heck? but it was an insult first, like, what the heck? And then it was like, it's okay, people make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And I started sending love to that person. So that's the idea. Our first reaction could be an instinct, right? Get angry, and then, okay, it's okay. The person might have made a mistake. Didn't realize they might have needed to turn there. They didn't realize where they were, and they thought that I was letting them move over. So it's okay. Instead of, I'm not saying it's easy, attaching myself that I really need to, right, in a way, keep tied up to that situation that happened and keep swearing or feeling like crap, right? It's just, okay, it happened. She made a mistake. This guy made a mistake. It's okay. And keep on going. I just remember because I was talking about this, but seriously, after that, it was gone from my mind. So how can we bring more love into the world? Practicing it for ourselves and for others. And again, remember, it's very easy to love and accept somebody else when they're doing what we are expecting. This is one of the big reasons why there's so many divorces around the world. Why are there such a high rate divorce around the world? Because when somebody does or says something that hurts you, you're already hurting, but you want to put it on them, now you want to move away from the pain. Lately, I've been in many different groups, whether it is personal development or even spiritual groups, where a lot of people were saying, now that you're in personal development or you're in spirituality, don't you find that it's difficult to do your job, to be around people, to go out with your friends from school, blah, 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 things like that. So people are isolating. That is the ego. Sorry, guys, but that is the ego. We're not meant to isolate. Yes, maybe put some distance for a little bit, but if we think that isolation is the solution, we're coming from ego. That is not spirit. That is not spirituality. That is not true personal development. When people say, oh, surround yourself by people that are where you want to be because now you're going to become one of them. Or don't surround yourself with people that are depressed or are struggling, blah, 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 because you can become one of them. What they're saying is that these people have a lack of self-esteem, self-confidence, so whoever surrounds them, they become that. I'm sorry, that is not entirely true. It could be true, but that means that that person has a low self-esteem, low confidence. Because if you have a high confidence, you can surround yourself with anyone. I surround myself with a lot of people, different people. People that have money, people that don't have money, people that are struggling, people that are depressed, people that are, in a very bad situation. That doesn't mean that I'm becoming that. I'm just helping them. So we got to be very careful, because then you're selective. Oh, are you making money? If not, I cannot be around you because I want to make money, so I need to be around people that make money. That is ego, people. Listen to that for a second. That is ego speaking. That is not true spirit. Please be careful what you consume, what you believe in. Challenge me and challenge others out there, because there's so much crap going around social media of who you need to become, who you need to surround yourself. I want you to be you, because just you is a gift to the world. Your imprint, your energy that you're sending out into the world, that is you. And is the best thing you can do for this world to be a better place. Whenever you try to become someone else, whenever you surround yourself and choose who you're surrounding, and I'm not meaning to be around people that are always saying negative things and putting up with that crap all day. No, I'm not saying that. But can you be around people that maybe for 2 hours are saying negative things? If not, if you cannot handle it, what you're telling me is that in the subconscious mind of yours, there is this negative going on. The negativity going on. So it could be a way of revealing what's going on inside of you already. Yes, it could be revealing what's going on inside of you. So instead of moving away, instead of avoiding, be careful, right? Because there's an opportunity in every situation. Start working on that self-love, love for yourself in the good times and in the bad times or difficult times, whatever you want to call it, in the storms, and the same to others. How can you start practicing loving somebody else, even if they're not behaving the way that they should? And that doesn't mean to stick around. That doesn't mean to put up with their crap. No. Somebody attacking you, each time you see a mom, she attacks you. You don't need to stick around, but at least maybe start practicing setting boundaries. That's another thing. Oh, but she doesn't take boundaries. Okay, when was the last time you tried? How did you try it? Right? Because it's very different from coming from a place that I've done this with my mom, setting a true strong boundary without fighting, without cursing, without war. Just saying, you know what, Mom? Next time you talk like that, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm not going to put up with this. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to put up with this. Done. And finally, she understood. The more I kept on changing my inner world, how I treated myself, people started treating me in a different way. That's the idea with all of this. I hope that makes sense. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know what you think here in the comments. Have you experienced this in the past where now suddenly you're realizing, or if you're realizing now, how you're treating yourself? Remember, write those sentences down, pointing fingers out. My wife makes me feel like this. My husband makes me feel like this. My boss makes me feel like this. And then how are you making yourself feel? Go from there, see what happens. And I hope you can really take this as an opportunity to help you grow even more. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this, and I see you next time, guys. Bye.